I wasn't supposed to hear the voicemail. It wasn't meant for my ears, but at 2:17 a.m. with my phone vibrating on the nightstand and my wife breathing softly beside me, curiosity reached out before logic could stop it. The message played, and in under 30 seconds, my entire life collapsed. Her voice was calm, intimate, familiar in a way it hadn't been with me in years. "Once we freeze him out, the company's yours. The house too. He won't even fight it. He trusts me." Then a man laughed, a laugh I knew. My business partner, my best friend since college, the man who stood beside me at my wedding and called me brother. The message ended with a kiss sound. And just like that, I understood something terrifying. The betrayal wasn't coming. It had already arrived. People think betrayal is loud. They imagine screaming matches, slammed doors, shocking discoveries. The truth is worse. Betrayal is quiet, patient, methodical. It hides in routines, in trust, in the comfort of "this would never happen to me." Let me rewind. 5 years earlier, I had nothing but a cracked laptop, a borrowed desk, and a hunger that refused to let me sleep. I built the company from my living room. Long nights, missed holidays, canceled vacations. My wife, Nadia, said she believed in me. My best friend, Daniel, said he believed in me. They both believed in what I was building. What I didn't know was that belief had an expiration date. The company grew faster than any of us expected. Contracts, investors, press mentions. Money changed everything, not overnight, but slowly, like rust spreading under fresh paint. Daniel wanted control, Nadia wanted security, and I was the obstacle. They didn't start with knives, they started with whispers. Daniel began handling things for me. Nadia started helping with paperwork. I trusted them, because trust is what honest people use, and dishonest people exploit. By the time I noticed inconsistencies in the books, Daniel had explanations ready. By the time Nadia stopped asking about my day, I told myself marriages go through phases. I mistook warning signs for growing pains, and they mistook my patience for weakness. That voicemail wasn't the first betrayal, it was the confirmation. Suddenly, every late meeting made sense, every guarded phone call, every sudden change in legal documents I didn't need to worry about. I didn't wake Nadia. I didn't confront Daniel. I didn't cry. I did something far more dangerous. I smiled. Because here's the thing no one tells you. The moment you know the truth, you stop being the victim. I spent the rest of that night sitting in the dark, replaying the message again and again. Not in anger, but in clarity. They thought they were ahead. They weren't even on the board yet. Revenge isn't rage. Revenge is restraint. I acted normal. I kissed Nadia goodbye in the mornings. I laughed at Daniel's jokes during meetings. I signed documents they slid in front of me, after making copies. I became invisible. And while they were planning how to erase me, I was documenting how they did it. Emails forwarded, contracts reviewed, financial trails mapped. I hired a lawyer without telling my wife. I hired a forensic accountant without telling my partner. And every night, I slept beside the woman plotting to ruin me, listening to her breathe like a stranger wearing a familiar face. Do you know how hard it is to pretend love when you've seen its mask fall off? Hard, but necessary. Because betrayal thrives on surprise, and I was about to take that away. 3 months later, they made their move. Daniel called an emergency board meeting. Nadia didn't look at me when she poured coffee that morning. That should have hurt. Instead, it felt like confirmation. At the meeting, Daniel cleared his throat. "We've discovered serious mismanagement issues." Slides appeared. Numbers, charts, accusations. They accused me of negligence, of financial recklessness, of being a liability to the company I built. Nadia sat quietly beside him, not as my wife, as a witness. The board members shifted uncomfortably. They looked at me with sympathy, and that's when I realized something else. They expected me to defend myself. I planned to let them bury themselves. I stood up and agreed with everything, every accusation, every concern. The room went silent. Daniel smiled, just for a second. That smile cost him everything. I asked for one thing. Before any vote, can we review the flow of financial history? Transparency matters. Daniel hesitated. Too late. The accountant I hired walked in, then the lawyer, then the projector changed slides. Emails appeared. Bank transfers, side accounts. Daniel's face drained of color. Nadia's fingers tightened around her pen. I wasn't presenting my defense. I was presenting their confession. The room erupted. Daniel tried to speak. The lawyer cut him off.
Nadia stood up, screaming that I manipulated everything. And that was the moment I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized I wasn't losing a wife. I was shedding a liability. Daniel lost his shares, then his reputation, then his freedom, because fraud doesn't disappear just because you smile confidently. Nadia filed for divorce. She demanded the house, the assets, half of everything. She didn't get them, because while she was planning my downfall, I had quietly rewritten the future. Prenups matter, documentation matters, timing matters. She walked away with what she brought into the marriage, nothing more, nothing less. The silence after was deafening. No apologies, no explanations, just absence and peace. People ask me if I felt satisfied, if revenge felt sweet. Here's the truth they don't expect. The best revenge isn't watching someone fall. It's realizing they no longer matter. I rebuilt, not louder, smarter, not angrier, clearer. The company thrived without Daniel. My life expanded without Nadia, and the nights got quieter, not lonely, but calm. Betrayal taught me something no success ever did. Anyone can stand beside you when things are rising, but only loyalty stays when temptation knocks. If this story hit close to home, if you've ever trusted someone who smiled while sharpening the knife, you're not weak, you're human. And if you're still standing after betrayal, you're dangerous in the best way. Like this story if you believe betrayal reveals, not destroys. Share it with someone who needs to hear that trust broken can still lead to power regained. Come in still standing if you've survived something like this. This isn't the only story where betrayal thought it won, and it won't be the last time karma arrives quietly, dressed as patience. If you want the next story, the one where the betrayer never saw it coming, stay right here, because the next stop is even colder.